Oh my God, the pay-to-play era is over, boys. But look, let's have one more intro and let's get into it, guys.
Mississippi Queen, if you know what I mean. Mississippi Queen, call me everything. Way down around Big Bird, around Louisiana way. Let a Cajun lady, call her Mississippi Queen. You know she was a dancer. Ooh, better all right, what a president dudes was a getting that kick. Brother making party, now we're losing mind. Mississippi Queen, if you know what I mean. Mississippi Queen, call me everything. This lady, she has me. If I would be her man, you know that I told her I would do what I can to keep her looking pretty. My gender jack shine, what a winner that dude, what a get naked. You know I was getting mine. You know she was a dancer. Ooh, better all right, what a winner that dude, what a get naked. What a make it party, now we're losing mine.
Ooh, big round of applause, Archie Luxury. Well, that's actually a pretty good intro by Doc BBW. I must admit, I do like that intro, guys. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the show. A little bit of an early Heraldry Dungeon. I don't really have a little bit of time this afternoon. Ideally, I probably would have done like a 2-hour show before Archie, but a little busy this afternoon. However, I think what's important is we feed content to the audience, guys. The audience, they're loving this drama. They want to hear what's going on. So I'm gonna take it from here and tell you guys what's up. But want to say, to start off, we always do by saying hello to everybody in the chat. We got Fat Windbag Ben, in the chat saying it's the end of the year drama. And I gotta tell Ben, I said, look, last year we had Curly selling Christmas cards on the Archie Luxury show. So you know what? It's yeah, man, it's that time of year. Let's have a bit of fun with it. Let's have a bit of fun with it, Ben, because I'm having a grand old time. We got Terry in the chat. I don't think we need subtitles. I think StreamYard fixed its issues. You do one troll out there, Terry, about StreamYard, and motherfuckers like ban you and shit. So we'll get into that. It's look, I don't know if it's JB and Curly's like first day on the internet. But two boys that are just reeling from very little trolling on my side. So I find that a bit funny. I felt I owed it to them. Curly did a 9-hour stream. JB, tried multiple times to do a stream. I don't know. He's not a YouTuber, right? Doesn't really know how to do streams. So yeah, it's we're gonna kind of go along with it, guys. But yeah, maybe it's JB and Curly's first day on the internet. I don't know, but I'll show them the lay of the land here, guys. I'll show them the lay of the land. Green Table says nobody works here. Yeah, especially Archie. That's definitely for sure. JB said he was banned first. You're not banned, JB. Like, look, this is the Archieverse, man. It ain't soy. Like, you don't need to ban people. If anything, look, did Curly not teach you anything, JB? Are you not getting good advice from Curly? Like, if I'm trolling you back in your chat, like that's content, bro. Like, why just dismiss content? But hey, I guess JB knows how to do it better, right? We'll see, guys. We'll see. Got Jamie Opulence in the chat says all the drama starts and ends with Higgy. Yes, I'm sure it does. I'm sure the Higgy will stick his nose where it don't belong. Watch Nicholas in the chat. Wow. Let's see, watch Nick. We got Rich Mitch. No watch talk today, Rich Mitch. Pretty short stream. Just gonna figured I'd do this before the end of the day and stuff like that. So do a bit early, and then yeah, I'm assuming they're gonna do watches tonight, but we'll get to that. But today is a drama. It's a dungeon, man. If you're on the dungeon, it's not like watch. People want a super chat for watches. Happy to help, happy to answer questions, but gonna stick to some drama content. We also got Bear Clooney in the chat. Nice to see you, Bear, this afternoon, morning. Yeah, it's morning still here on the East Coast. And we got Pasta who's asking where he is. We are on the Horology Dungeon. Now, look, Archie's actually considering changing that. He even said, I want to call it like Tan's Dungeon. I said to him, look, man, I don't really have a tie to the dungeon. Do I hop on here every once in a while? Yeah. Have I watched it since I came back? Yeah. But it's like, I said, look, if you're gonna honor somebody with a dungeon, like that should be Sirocco, man. Somebody who actually was running the dungeon, was obviously somebody we would love to commemorate. So yeah, if you guys like that idea, I'd love to change this channel's name to Sirocco's Dungeon or Sirocco's Horology Dungeon or Horology Dungeon, in honor of Sirocco or something like that, because I think that is what the captain deserved. Marcus Menda, who am I? I don't know, bro. I don't know. JB, you are a fake wannabe. Thanks for banning. You're not banned, bro. Like I could pull up your chats right now. What are you talking about, man? But look, JB, it's I think it's important for you to understand when your avatars that meet nobody, never been to a community event, never being surprised by the fact that like the community actually says, hey man, like people who help out in the community, shouldn't be really subjected to abuse. JB he's unfathomed by that. But look, JB doesn't meet nobody. Like, has anybody met JB? Does he go to any of these watch events? Does he set anything up, like that? I don't think so. Right? I don't think so. But that's the thing, JB. That's why I'm not bothered, man. Like, it's just, I find it funny. I feel it's like your first day on the internet. I feel it's Curly's first day on the internet, being triggered for 9 hours. But look, I'm going to get into that, guys. I still want to continue by saying hello to everybody in the chat. We don't have to start right now, but, like Lucy, it's drama season. It's holiday drama season. People are, people are winding down. Christmas is coming. Christmas season's here, right? It's a little bit of fun. I never take this shit too seriously. I'm going to preface a lot of this by telling people that, I got thick skin, everybody knows that. So, I have a little bit of fun. And that allows you guys as the audience members that like this kind of content to enjoy it. By just understanding that, it's above the belt. We're all having a good time. And that's what it's about. Higgy says, I have no idea about the genie. Oh, fuck off, Higgy, with this watch talk, man. I'm not interested in the watch talk. Okay, so you want me on? Well, I mean, look, you banned me in your chat. Like, can I get my chance to speak? Like, is that not fair to me? I mean, you guys have had about 10 hours, right? Curly, 9 hours. You with like 50 attempts to run a live stream. So, like, do I get my chance? Like, I think it's fair. Ben, Ken, I have stopwatch on to see how long you can't talk without breathing. Your record is 5 minutes and 52 seconds. That's a long time, Ben. I'm surprised I'm alive. That's a long time. And we got Undertaker. Nice to see you, bro, in the chat. It's Thanksgiving. All right, let's get started. We're caught up with the chat. Okay, so stop pay to play. The big story of the day. Now, before I talk about the big story, I want to highlight a couple of things for everybody. You guys have seen the Archie Luxury live stream, Horology Dungeon. We're using polls and really gauging, just customer or viewer engagement and whatnot. It's been really good. I'm going to highlight one of our polls. From a day ago, 101 votes, guys. 101 votes. Appreciate you guys, really interested in this topic. Because Curly's always saying, like, nobody likes this toxic drama, right? Like, nobody's into it. 101 votes. All right, so who's the biggest poison pill in the Archieverse? Now, I know Watch Nicholas ran this poll. I don't know if he has his results. I'm sure could be similar. I don't know. But we ran this poll a day ago, and 65%, so 65 people or 65 trolls, I don't know. 65 people. I mean, I don't have that many troll accounts. 65 people fucking voted for Curly as the biggest poison pill in the Archers. Now Marcelo got 25%. Not surprised by that. And Mental Jock 10%. So definitely check these out. Now, for those that don't know where these are, because sometimes people don't use these on the phone. If you use the phone, it's part of your it will just go in your subscription section. But if you go on the community page, just on the main streams, whether it's Horology Dungeon, Archie Lecture live stream, go to the post. We got daily posts here. Today's post, we got 24 votes, and definitely 2 hours ago, 24 votes. Really, really good progress there. Which of the following is your favorite part of Hypocrisy which of the following is your favorite part of Hypocrisy LLC featuring Curly? So we got 3 options here. Crying about pay-to-play trolling. That's the topic. My first topic of the day. Taking food off AC3's table during the Christmas season for fun. I mean, Curly always says, guys, these guys are against having fun, right? Like, I say, look, trolling above the belt's all fun and games. Rebels streaming people's slots when it's their primary source of income, especially in the holiday season, is, I think that should be called out by everybody. I don't think that's cool. I think it's a bit of pot kettle black with Curly calling Archie out for, not even having, it's not like Archie went and created fake reviews on Marcelo's, whatever the page was, and everybody condemns that. That's fucking ridiculous. I even said that to Marcelo myself, the day it happened. I said, that's fucking ridiculous that anybody would do that. But Curly's directly like rebel streaming, going into Archie's slots, using his content when he told him not to. And look, it is Christmas season. I'm gonna call this out. Unfortunately, look, I think viewers should be calling this out because right from all the nastiness and fun in the Archieverse, like this does have an impact to someone on a real level. And I'm gonna take it back to the fun side, but I did have to call that out. Lastly, attacking donors and viewers instead of Tim Ocean. Like Curly's whole shtick is supposed to be about like Tim and Ocean content, right? Like that's his whole thing is Tim and Ocean content. But look at it from my perspective, right? Like a guy who's supported the channels, his channels, Mookie's channels, his channels, Archie's channel, all these channels, Watch Nicholas, everybody, right? And then you got a guy who's when it's convenient for him, right? When he wants to have a simp fest, right? He wants to court other donors, which is like I get it, it's part of the game. But when he wants to have a simp fest, right? Like, then he goes and he feels it's okay to attack donors. So the reality is that like I think you guys need to all understand that nobody is immune to that kind of stuff, donors included, right? So I think that's a very important point for donors to see is like you may now for me. Not really. I find it kind of funny that, a boomer is getting all triggered, spending 9 hours at night crying because I put up a poll. You know what I mean? Like, I find that hilarious. I think it's like Curly's first day on the internet. But yeah, like, it's just, it's a little funny that, that he would go do that. Now, I think Curly's always talked about Archie, like, alienates people and does this and that. I mean, look, man, you're doing it yourself. Like, you're putting that content out yourself, attacking donors. Like, so I'd say anybody donating money to Curly needs to, just has to understand that that's a reality. And, also on the flip side, Curly ain't nothing to be scared of. Like, I don't mind coming on here and, really refuting his 9-hour stream with probably an hour stream because it doesn't really take me that long. I don't steal content. I don't need to use his clips. I don't need to use, Marcelo's clips because I can create content on my own. So yeah, like, these are the polls. We have a poll going in the chat, obviously live for everybody. It's a similar poll. Getting, just kind of seeing what the sentiment is in the Archieverse. So definitely, if you want to use it live, you can check out the poll here as well on the Horology Dungeon live. We got a member chat from the Magpie, member for 19 months. Wow, thank you, Magpie. So much drama, it's hard to keep up. Good to hear both sides of the tape. Dungeon Dwellers #1. Thank you so much, Magpie. Yeah, even the other day when Archie was like, keep my wife's like, dude, like I was like, yo, like I like literally said like one word, like, come on, man. So look, I'm gonna call out what's fun in games and what's not. What's fun in games is pretty much 99% of it. I would say what's not fun in games is this part right here. It's like, look, like that is his business. Like, if you think that, it's, again, this is important for, I think, everybody in the Archieverse to hear is if Curly is going to somehow call out Archie for having no connection to somebody else, writing up fake reviews for Marcelo, which is disgusting and should never be done. But then he directly goes and, decides to stream in Archie's slots and, realistically, take money from the table of his children. I mean, that is a direct, that is a direct attack at that guy's business. And, I'm not afraid to call that out because again, like, you know, I mean, what are you gonna get? A guy screaming in the wind for 9 fucking hours. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just gonna troll him the next day. This is like entertainment for me. Like I don't really find it, offensive but some people may, right? Like some donors may be like, well, fuck, like I dropped hundreds of dollars over these channels over the years, and now they're bad mouthing me. I mean, that's reality with Curly. Like, it was, I would agree with Curly's statement of like people don't leave the Archieverse because of him, but yeah, there are a lot of people that are soured in the Archieverse because of his antics, right? Like, and I'm not to say that we didn't support that. I mean, for sure, it's all it's all part of the game. How about the Ghost Reservation stand? No, none of that's okay, JB. I think anybody would say that that's completely off and completely wrong. Now, to say that Archie did that, I mean, I don't really see any proof. I'd love to see evidence of that, because you're blaming a guy who didn't do that. Whereas Curly directly will rebel stream and Archie slots taking money from his kids. Like that's a simple narrative, JB. Unfortunately, but the evidence is not really on your side. Tant, slow down. You're a I just had a morning coffee, Ben. I'm good. No, I couldn't do it this afternoon, so I was like, you know what, JB's on. He'll listen. You've got to give the punchers, the audience, the red meat that they want, right? Like we do a show. This isn't a scream fest and an upset fest. I'm just going to respond to what I see on Curly and JB's first day on the internet, right? Like literally, I put this poll up. We got not this one, the other one here. This one here, put this up a day ago, right? And then Curly, I don't even say his name, I think. I just put up a poll, I think I sent a super chat saying, are you going to send Curly a Christmas card, right? Dude runs a 9-hour stream, basically telling the Archieverse or telling whoever his viewers are, that, I'm here to expose Tan. He pays to play, right? He pays to play. And that's what I'm here to expose. Like, or JB is like, I'm here to tell you about behind the scenes. I'm here to tell you about how the sausage is made. Tan drives the narratives. Like, okay, like, did we not know that? Like, did we not know that? Darwin trip, classic example, right? Like the Darwin trip idea, was originally mine. I wouldn't say that I dealt the success of the Darwin trip. That was Mr. GMT. That was Undertaker. That was Madman. And ultimately, even credit to Golden Baba, right? Like he's one guy that people don't talk about in that Darwin trip. I mean, Golden Baba pushing the croc tank dive. Like I didn't push that. I simply set the stage, right? So no, I don't take credit for everything. But saying that, hey, like Tan does all these narratives and you need to know about those in the background. It's like, yeah, like I mean, 300 people in the Archie Luxury WhatsApp group get a message every single day saying, hey, this is the content, or hey, this is on the Locks Report, or hey, check out producer Mark, or check out Marcelo time, or check out Blondie time. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't think you're telling people something they don't know. And that's the funny part about the shtick is the narrative is like, they are so bad at doing the narrative. Between Curly and JB are so bad at doing the narrative that they think that the narrative should be, oh, we're going to expose Tan for pay to play, right? Like, he shouldn't be doing that. He's doing it for his own kicks, and it's like, yeah. I mean, it to take you fucking how many years to figure that out? Like, yeah. I said, and then JB is like, like Tan's too scared to go on the shows and talk about. He needs people on the panel, right? And I'm just like, yo, like, I've been doing Lost Reports. I think I fired that back up a couple weeks ago. I did Dungeon like 2 weeks ago. I did a fucking Archie show yesterday. Like, I ain't hiding, bro. Like, and just to purposely let JB know, I don't need to drop the link, for people to hop on because I that windbag bed center himself. I can do a 3-hour stream myself. Like, it's not that difficult, JB. It's not that difficult to run one show and not 4, JB. My first day on the internet, and tell me how I am experienced. Look, you're right though, JB. I never offered you money. I never, asked you for that. I actually don't have an issue with JB. I think, like JB's, I think the first time, it's funny, he's like recycling his shtick, right? Like the first time around, he had a beef with me when he banned Higgy for $300. This is the story about JB. I'm gonna tell you guys the behind the scenes, no sharing of messages. Okay, so last year, JB sends 350 euros or 300 euros to ban Higgy for a month from the Archieverse. No problem. And then after I came back, JB and I started talking again. JB was like, he messaged me saying, Tan, why don't you do these like watch streams anymore? The guy who literally an hour ago was like, oh, this guy has no fans. And like this motherfucker's a fan messaging me, asking me to do a watch show. He's like, Tan, why don't you do any of these watch shows anymore? I said, bro, like, what do you mean? Like you banned the guy who helps me with these watches. You panned Higgy. Like, if you ever looked at any of those watch shows, it was primarily me, Higgy, Sod, and the Odd Time Professor, right? So, I mean, you created, and then I think at that point he realized, and JB said this on the stream. This isn't something new. I'm just kind of just recapping it for you guys. JB said, he's like, yeah, I fucked it up. Like, I realized I fucked it up. And yeah, you're right. Like, Higgy was bringing value in those watch shows. So, I mean, like, JB, come on, man. Like, if you're gonna run a narrative, like, yeah, make it believable. Like, I don't really buy that shtick. But saying that I need this is, I think, the funniest thing from today. And I'll give credit to JB because I laughed really hard. JB said, like, somehow I like needed Mike the Snake, on the show to run a stream. And I love Mikey, and I did message Mikey, and I said, the message I sent him, I'll read you the message because I do read my own private messages. I'm not going to read his messages, but I'll read you the message that I sent Mikey because it's a very simple one. Yesterday, I basically told Mike the Snake, I said, man, would love to talk more. I'm streaming for AC3 in 30 minutes. We'll be on for 2 hours if you want to shoot the shit, chat cars and watches with me. Love spending time with you, man. That was it. It was just, hey, man, I'm going to be on. If you want to hop on and talk, cool. If you don't, all good. Kelso's hopped on his own. So yeah, it's, saying I need Mike the Snake to be on the show. Like, really, bro? Yeah, it's a little rich, JB. It's a little rich. I don't think, and the funny part is JB then is upset. He's like, he's getting messages from people. Oh, I'm getting messages from people saying you shouldn't do this to 10. It's because people are like, bro, like, you're making yourself look like an idiot. Like saying that I can't do a fucking show by myself for a couple hours, man. Come on, man. Come on. Stop Pay2Play, Watch Nicholas. Stop Pay2Play. They want to end. They want to end fun in the Archieverse. This is what Curly is trying to say: is ending fun in the Archieverse. Right? Sorry, I haven't pulled up any of these messages. I'm feeling bad here. Let me pull up some of these messages. JB, these fake reservations are disgusting. No one called me. Absolutely. What? Like, absolutely. I will agree with that. I will say that on air. Absolutely disgusting. Anybody who does that's a scumbag. Do not do that. And at the same side, I'll call out Curly for being a scumbag as well. Rebel streaming Archie slots. When he's clearly like communicated multiple times, hey man, it's not cool. Shouldn't do that. Like, I think, look, if you support the Archieverse, if you actually want Archie's show to be on and have a show and not have him do this 50 fucking times, like, you should be calling that out. Saying, hey man, like, it's fucking Christmas time. Like, really, you're gonna really do this at this time? I mean, I think that's fair as well. So, Curly ain't without sins, guys. Curly ain't without sins. Now that your explorers around 3 seconds slows, it's 3 seconds in like multiple weeks, man. Not like every single day. It's like from the time I said it, it's just 3 seconds behind the current time, and that was weeks ago. So fucking really impressed with the Explorer 40 that I got, from its thing. If someone runs a 9-hour stream raging about a play, yeah, dude, it's just like, I look. Did we take a page out of Watch Nicholas's book? Probably. Watch Nicholas has been running the shtick of the polls. Now, Uzi tried to pick up the shtick, and it wasn't really working out for him. But guys, like man, 101 votes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, either Dirk Diggler came out with his like fucking, either Dirk Diggler came out with his fucking like his army of troll accounts, or I mean, I don't know. Curly running a 9-hour stream because I put up a poll. It definitely his first day on the internet, Watch Nick. Like, but look, when you deal with boomers, it's kind of easy. It's like, it's like when your grandpa comes up saying like, hey man, like, can you help me with my phone, or, can you help me get on Facebook? So it's kind of like shit. Like, I kind of like see it, and I'm like, I actually genuinely feel bad that the guy wasted 9 hours of his life crying over a poll. But hey, this is what Curly wants. Curly Q2, Hypocrisy LLC, calls himself Circular Drama LLC. And I'll talk to you about his Circular Drama because he is Circular Drama LLC. He yesterday attacked a donor for attacking a donor. Circular Drama LLC. He attacks me for allegedly attacking ER. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, Circular Drama. Curly does not want Pay2Play. Now, Curly, I don't even need to use clips. This is the thing, right? I don't steal content. I don't need to steal content like Curly, right? I can easily hop on here and refute, because you guys have all heard it. And, even though this isn't an opportune time for anybody to stream, I know it's like 11 in the morning for people, or, late in the afternoon in the UK. Not a great time. People at work, or people are busy. Like, Curly's going to replay this stream about 100 times over the next week, which is great for me, because I think the mistake that JB made here, was banning me in Marcelo's chat, where JB was having massive audio issues today, guys. Like, he had to put up like 4 streams. Like, dude's not a YouTuber. Like, I get it. he's a bit of an amateur troll, amateur YouTuber. Like, I get it, right? Like, fails streaming about 4 times. So I hop in his chat and I say, look, hey man, like I bought StreamYard and I just put silence on the internet. I'm sorry, bro. Like, you can come watch my dungeon in about an hour and a half. And I'll have great audio like I do right now, baby. JB gets so triggered that I say this. He's like, oh, Tan thinks he owns people. It's like watch Nick. Like, it's like you have to explain the joke to the boomers, and that's where it gets tough, right? Like, it's, you don't want to hurt people's feelings here, right? Like, Curly thinking a 9-hour stream, complaining about me paying to play, right? Oh, Tan, in the background, he's paying these guys off. Like, I mean, like, isn't that story public knowledge? Like, Tim Wright has banned me from his show because it is public knowledge that I paid off Marcelo to do a birthday stream and just to go against him. Like, they're telling us riveting news, right? Because this is, I think if you read between the lines here, guys, this is what the real narrative is they don't actually have a narrative. There is no content, right? They're grasping at straws here, unfortunately. And they're getting frustrated that I'm not responding because it's kind of like not interesting. It's laughable. It's like, JB saying like, I need Mike the Snake on a fucking live stream. Like, bro, like, are you kidding me? Like, I've ran dungeons 150 people myself. Like, are you like, are you new? Like, is this your first day here? Unfortunately, but like, yeah, he's paying everybody but me, right? Like, so JB asked me, Tan, come on the stream, and I'm happy to respond here, right, guys? Tan, come on the stream and tell me what you think about. He named a few people. I can add people to the list. Curly will be the first one. Look, I actually like Curly. I have no problems with Curly. I found it a bit sad he ran a 9-hour stream. Like, look, I get it, right? 101 people. Like, this is Curly's biggest fear, right? Curly. Everyone thinks that defeating Curly is about outstreaming him, right? Like, I get that a lot. You can't outstream Curly, right? And I said, look, that's not really Curly cares about stats, right? And when his stream starts dwindling, right? The viewers start dwindling, or people get bored of his shtick because he doesn't have content, and therefore he just runs content against donors. I mean, that's what it's come down to, really, is that runs content against donors because he has no content, right? Like, this is what happens. This is why I say, like, the drama channels, while they're fun, right? And then whether it's Watch Nicholas or Mookie or whatever, like, these channels multiple times over the past 2 years have gone down for whatever reason, right? Whether it's copyright strikes from Tim Wright or YouTube violations or whatever it is. Like, these are not the longevity of these channels, guys. They're not like, I mean, cool. They're just going to go buy another one. Like, people are going to get bored with the shtick eventually, right? Like, people in the colony are going to eventually they're going to realize that they're watching, the guy who booted them from the show through another guy's show and wake up one day and be like, yo, that's fucking pathetic, man. Like, why am I watching Tim Wright's show on Curly's channel? Like, it's fucking pathetic, right? But hey, look, people like that content. I never really understood the obsession with Tim Wright. I just, he's a sidekick, right? Like, I don't really get that excited over the sidekicks. And JB was absolutely right today, saying, Tan, you're not a celebrity. Yeah, I've said that myself. I've said nobody's a celebrity. Bear Clooney is not a celebrity. Neither is Curly. Neither is JB. Neither is Watch Nick. Neither is JJ. Neither is Tim Wright. Neither is whoever. Anybody who's kind of either springboarded off Archie or started on the Archieverse, they're not the celebrities, guys. Archie's the celebrity. Like, let's be real. Put 100 people at Watch Time New York in the room and put Tim Wright at a table and put Archie Luxury at a table outside of the watch community. Do you think anybody's going to go up to Tim Wright and be like, oh, man, you're Tim Wright? Like, no. But random people, including industry executives and industry people, will know exactly who Archie Luxury is, for better or for worse, right? Like, and for people to run the narrative that, like, oh, Archie is losing popularity. Archie was never popular, right? Like, understand, like, us in the Archieverse, we're part of that niche community that actually liked his content. Like, I mean, this guy's banned on Rolex forums, he's banned on Watch You Seek, he's banned on Times, he's banned everywhere. He's not a liked person. 8 out of 10 people in the watch community that may know him would probably say they don't like him. Two of the 10 probably say they do, of which one probably still watches. So it's I mean, JB, like, again, you're just stating like stuff that everybody already knows. Like, hey, you're not a celebrity, you can't. It's like, yeah, like, do you think if I was seeking celebrity status, right? Like, let's just go down the rabbit hole here with him. If I'm seeking celebrity status, right? Like, if I'm seeking celebrity status in the 7 years I've been here, two and a half of which I wasn't, I was gone. Let's say, so 5 years I've been here. Like, wouldn't I have started a channel? You know, do I not have enough watch knowledge to start a channel? Do I not drive a lot of the narratives and the drama and the con? Of course I could. You know, of course I could. However, I choose to help other people, you know, with their channels because other people have an enthusiasm for this, right? Whether it was Blondie at one point, you know, or Marcelo, or you know, they're calling out producer Mark for some reason now. I mean, I go on Mark's show to talk about cars, but they want to attack other. This is the thing, right? Like, look at the evidence. Look at any time I've ever gone on producer Mark's channel and talked about anything but but cars. You know, and this is the thing. People see right through it, and they get angry about that because two avatars that have never met anybody in person think that they're going to go tell like a guy like Dirk Diggler who's met me in person and say, yeah, like Tan's an asshole and he thinks you're beneath him, right? You know, and it's like, meanwhile, Dirk's going to be like, yo, like, I mean, I hung out with this guy for hours. Like, what are you talking about? You know, and you know, it's the same thing with like Watch Nick, right? Like a lot of people, you know, they're running this narrative that like, you know, me and Watch Nick are running narratives and you know, and I proxies and this and that. Like, you know, I met Watch Nick at at New York, and you know, a lot of people did. A lot of people had a good time, hung out, no issues, right? Like, you know, people sometimes take the YouTube stuff and they just get like, you know, they think it's like, you know, triggering to the point where someone's going to stay up all night and run 9 hour streams. Now, look, I mean, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have my coffee, chillax, let JB, you know, fail on 4 streams and, you know, let him get past his first day on the internet. And then I'll come on and I'll just fucking start trolling these motherfuckers because I don't need their content. I don't need to watch their shit. Like, you know, you're talking to La Narrativa here. Like, I'm the one who created your motherfucking narratives. Like, all of the drama centering Marcelo's channel. Like, think about it. You know, if I hadn't gone, JB is right. If I hadn't gone on and publicly stated that I wasn't supporting Marcelo anymore, yeah, I mean, like, where do you think it came from? La Narrativa. It's not created by you guys. Come on, man. Now, okay, so you asked me about the people. So Curly, got no issues with Curly. The one thing I'll say about Curly is I will say, you know, attacking Archie's business during the Christmas season, I think is below the belt. I think anybody who is an actual Archie supporter should be calling that out. Unfortunately, Curly, I mean, if you're going to say Archie did that to Marcelo, like, you're directly doing that to Archie. Like, anybody can see that. It's pretty simple to say. That's the only thing I got to say about Curly. Mookie, I actually like Mookie. Got nothing against Mookie. Like his videos. You know, me and Mookie talk every once in a while. He's a cool guy. No issues with Mookie. Marcelo's a good one. Okay, so JB likes to center a lot of this around money, right? Because he thinks that, you know, that's all of the character, the persona of Patel Philippe is about, is the money, right? And many people, I think, see through that because they're like, well, if that was the case, then, like, you know, trips like Darwin, London, Watch Time, New York's, all of this stuff, Bangkok, Thailand. And I'm going to get into Thailand here on the Marcelo topic. You know, they would have been like, well, what's in it for him at that point, right? Like, you know, it was simply just enjoyment for the Archieverse, right? I create content that I feel I want to see, as well as maybe others, right, that encourage it, that like it, and whatnot. So, you know, it's really, it's really just about that, I would say. But when we're talking about Marcelo specifically, you know, JB said, you know, Marcel's my boy. I get it. I got JB's anger, right? Like, he's trying to back his boy, right? You know, JB likes to talk about real people, right? Like, you know, street level real people and kind of stuff like this. But JB, let me ask you one question, okay? When Marcelo was crying in the street, he had lost his passport, he had lost his wallet, he lost everything. You know, if it was just about the money with this guy, right? You're talking about like friendship here, just about the money. Who was on the phone with the Thai police? And this is public knowledge because I said it on the stream literally the day we did it. You know, Marcelo was crying, he did not know what to do. Calls me on the phone. He's like, can you please beg me to speak to the Thai police on his behalf? You know, and at the same time, Curly was helping. Me and Curly both were on the dungeon. I think it was the dungeon. And Curly had rolled back the tape and said, yo, like, I found the bag. It was lost at this, I think it was like a bus stop or whatever. So, you know, I get the message from Curly and I'm on the phone with the Thai police and I'm like, no, it's over here. And that's how they go when they find the bag, right? Like, you know, so if people are like, well, you know, you're taking credit for that. Like, you know, my question to them is when you hear that kind of a story, you know, where people have helped this guy, you know, in real life, like outside of the streams, outside of all this stuff, right? And you have him then go on his channel and run 4, 5, 6 days of attacking somebody who did that. You know, okay, if you don't like what somebody's doing, you know, You know, I don't like the shtick around like you're not like I literally just said I'm not supporting the guy. Like, you know, that was it financially. I said, look, you're running ATRG content. It's not my jam. It's not what I want to see. I'm not interested. Right? Anybody, any donor, you know, around has that right. But apparently I don't. Right? Apparently I don't have that right according to JB. But everybody else does. Right? And yeah, like dude was crying. Like he was crying. You know, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like he was crying on the phone. And I'm talking to the Thai police and I'm helping him locate his passport and his wallet, you know, the guy's whole fucking life basically. And the thanks I get is really like, you know, having JB who thinks he's backing up his boy. Like JB, who's real here, right? Like who's real? You know, who's real here? Like you're saying it's about owning or this relationship, bro. It was never like that with me and Marcelo. Marcelo will tell you that. That's why I would say I'm disappointed in Marcelo. That is his true colors. That is how he treats people. That let's just talk about money aside. No money, no live streams. That's how he treats somebody who, you know, goes and helps him, you know, in the real life. I didn't have to take that phone call. You know, I didn't have to pick up the phone when he called me. Why do I have to do that? I'm just some guy on the internet, you know? That's who Marcelo really is. So that is unfortunately, you know, that is unfortunately kind of, you know, how it is. But you kicked him for no reason. Why I don't know what you're talking about. Kicked him for no reason. I don't kick nobody, man. Show me a screenshot where I kicked you, JB. You're in the chat, man. I'm pulling up your stuff. Like you're so soy that like you couldn't have me in the chat. Like, and that's why I told you. Did Curly not teach you anything? Like that you have gold, right? When you got whoever your opponent is in trolling responding to you in the chat, that's gold. You want to bring those chats up, right? But I think the problem is that JB, it's his first day on the internet, guys. He's not really used to trolling. Gets a little pissed off. You know, runs about 300 streams. You know, dude hadn't streamed in months, right? And then this is great for me, JB. Like this is why I'll tell you why I enjoy this a lot. It's because you haven't been around for so long. So I'm happy that you're back and doing the shows. You're bringing content to the audience. Marcel's bringing content to the audience. Curly, 9 hours, you know, over a poll. You know what I mean? Like Curly, you know, Curly has, you know, he's specifically asked, you know, to stop pay to play, you know, to expose Tan for spending money and super chatting, right? Like that's literally what he's complaining about. He's complaining about me super chatting, you know. So I mean, Curly, I didn't know you you had any right to tell another man on when and how they should spend their money, right? Like, you know, I thought you were a Trump supporter. I didn't know you were a fucking socialist, like. You know, but Curly just wants it to be his narrative, and the reality is that we got just as big a microphone, if not a bigger microphone, than Curly. And, you know, a guy like me ain't scared of that motherfucker at all. You know, Archie is just fucking around with him. Like, the best is actually Archie because, you know, Archie is like, you know, he's like, you know, here's the white flag. I'm sorry. Yo, the next day he's going to be like, fuck Curly, bro. Like, it is so good right now with, like, how Archie's enjoying the trolling and Bear and everybody else. That's why it's like, you know, people think it's all kinds of, like, anger. And look, personal attacks I don't do. Like, you know, a lot of people are going after people's appearances. And, like, I don't do that, right? Like, I don't think that that's above board. I think that's stupid. You know, but I will, you know, call out a guy like Marcelo for being, you know, like JB's trying to act like, you know, he's real and he only deals with real people. Meanwhile, he's got a fucking snake, you know, who I had his back when he was at his absolute lowest. Not even talk about money, not talk about the streams, but when that guy was without a passport, without money, helping him talk to the Thai police. And, you know, he gets a little mad that I don't send money to him, which is every donor's right to not do that. I mean, I didn't know you guys are telling. Is that the shtick you're running, Curly and JB? Is you have the right to tell the donors when, you know, what they can super chat or when they can super chat? Like, you know, I thought you guys don't give people the gulag treatment, but apparently you do. Yeah, like, you know, the way I see it is, you know, a snake like Marcelo who can literally backstab somebody who helped him when he was at his lowest in real life, you know. Well, then repay the guy. Like, hey, if you're mad at what I do, just don't fucking talk about me. Like that actually, you know, this is why I'm seeing a bit of junior moves on Curly's part and JB's part. Like, you know, it's when you're opening up the narrative to be so easily refuted. Like I kind of told all these guys you're sending me messages about this. I'm like, man, like, you know, unwinding this narrative, attacking a donor narrative, like is the easiest narrative to unwind because I can call out every donor that's donating money to him and say, how do you know this is not going to be you? The day you don't agree. I mean, this guy was a classic example of it. Dirk Diggler, right? Like everybody knows Dirk Diggler is chill. Like the guy goes around all the shows and, you know, causes trouble, right? Causes drama, and he does it for fun. And, you know, maybe one day Curly doesn't like what he says and then ban this guy for fucking, you know, or because he was supporting Washnick. I don't know. Again, gulag treatment, right? Curly's banning this guy for, you know, going somewhere else. It's like, yo, like, you know, pot kettle black, Curly. Like, this is why I'm saying. This is why I call it, guys. I'm gonna pull up the poll today. We got 43 votes so far. Appreciate you guys in the middle of the day. Apologize. It's kind of a shitty time, but I didn't have time this afternoon. So 2 hours ago, 44 votes. What is your favorite part about Curly calls himself Circular Drama LLC, right? Like, guys, it's Hypocrisy LLC. The dude literally was crying for 9 hours yesterday about me sending in super chats to drive the show the way I want to drive it. So basically, he's saying you can't send money into a channel and ask a question and hear the kind of content you want to hear. Curly is essentially against pay to play, which is like the biggest. I'd say the biggest news today is Hypocrisy LLC now comes out. Curly has always touted himself as the pay to play troll. That's the only reason he feels it's justified to do what he does, right? And I was cool with that. I thought he was cool with me, but like, look, unfortunately, Curly, like I said, I think it's maybe his first or second day on the internet, and he got trolled a bit, and I'll show you the trolling that we did. 101 votes. Curly, again, like, I'll tell you guys, people who think that outstreaming Curly is the way to beat Curly, no, it's embarrassing the guys how you beat him. You treat him like the fucking prison yard bitch, and that's how you troll him. So 101 people, he saw this. 101 people voted. 65%. So that's 65 people, or I don't know, 2 people and 63 dirt trolls voted Curly. Of 101 votes, and that's what angers him, right? He sees that as a hit to his popularity. He sees that as market sentiment, right? And that is market sentiment. That was the message I was sending. So when JB says Tan does things behind in the background, right? Like, he's the mastermind. He's all this kind. Like, I appreciate that. I appreciate the nice words, JB. Like, that was the messages I got from everybody. It was like, yo, JB's whole point of his show, the tell-all, was Tan's the mastermind. Like, okay, cool. Like, that's not really groundbreaking news, but all right. Yeah, like, the fact that Curly goes 9 hours, that tells you something. You got to read between the lines sometimes, guys. Like, for those that want to learn how to like defeat Curly and just not get triggered over him, like, this is what I tell donors that are scared, right? Like, there's a lot of people who don't like Curly. We can name them out. Like, Herman Ingram hates Curly. Fucking Patrick Philippe doesn't like Curly. Fucking Watch Nicholas doesn't like. A lot of people. A lot of people don't like Curly right now. Many of those are not scared of Curly and have spoken against him. But that's the thing, right? It's Curly will just you can literally put up one poll, not say a word about the guy, and he will run a 9-hour simp fest stream the next day. And that, the question to that is that, who's really winning here? Like, because I don't see Curly's upside, right? Like, and if Curly got paid, right, to simp people, that's okay, right? This is what I'm saying is you make Curly the prison yard bitch, and that's exactly what he came out to look like last night, right? Just simping another donor who, is a little upset that they're not in the Archieverse. I get it. I get it, but that donor was causing trouble on a show where, we were trying to have a watch show with Jay Anthony and other people accusing people of taking wrenches, which we all know it was Curly, right? The saboteur, right? Who took, ER's wrench and other people. Or, Tommy told me it was Archie. I don't know. It's one of those two guys, probably Archie, I guess. Like, Tommy, I'll be honest about that one. I think that was Archie. But yeah, somehow accuses me of doing it. Like, why the fuck would I take a wrench, right? Then decides to come on and derail a watch show, right? So yeah, if you're going to come on and derail a watch, look, if you got a problem about wrenches and it's serious, send Archie a message offline. Don't come into the show and start derailing it when we're talking about watches. Super simple narrative to refute, guys. Anybody can watch the stream. Happy to replay it if you guys want, but like, this is the thing. This is what I find curious about Curly and JB is their narratives are so weak. They're so easy to unravel, right? JB is saying, I'm getting 100 messages of people saying, Tan, take down whatever Tan's name. I don't care if you run my name on the title of it. I'll tell you what I did care about is when someone puts a slanderous title with my real name in it. Yeah, and that's actually offside. But putting, my name saying I'm doing something in the Archieverse, that's totally above board, JB. I got no problems with that. But yeah, look, like getting into the, just the whole pay to play aspect of it, like Curly Q2, the man who has touted pay to play for 3 years now is now asking for pay to play to be taken down. Is saying, look, I'm sick and tired of Tan's boring, $302 super chats to drive the show, right? Like, do you hear what he's saying? Like, he is mad that I am sending super chats to create content for the show, right? So, the simple answer is, okay, well, there's a super chat button on your screen. You can press that and type your own comment and change the narrative, right? Like, again, I'm trying to teach Curly and teach Curly and and JB. It's their first day on the internet, right, guys? Like we have to kind of teach the boomers, a bit of it's like I said, it's like when your grandpa comes to you saying, like, can you help me get on Facebook, or or hey, this guy kind of said something. What are these comments? They're being a little rude. It's a bit uncouth, right? Like you kind of have to explain it to them. So I have to kind of explain it to Curly and JB on this thing around like, well, I mean, this is kind of the whole point, right? Like that super chat button exists because Curly has a super chat button. He answers it, but that's the thing, right? Hypocrisy LLC. It's okay if you super chat Curly money. He's okay to take your money and drive the narrative and drive it in whatever way, and run a simp fest. Like if you actually ever watch Curly respond, right? Like Curly's actually really good with customer service. He he'll kind of shift gears, become a little bit more personable. Oh, he's a father, he's a son, he's an uncle, or all this kind of bullshit he spills, right? Like that is good customer service. But I think that like where it's fake is when it doesn't go his way, right? When 101 people, right? This is what I told you. If anybody who thinks defeating Curly is about outstreaming him or screaming in the that's what everybody is like. Oh, I just don't want to have a beef with Curly because he's going to run a 9-hour stream and I've got to refute it for 9. Nah, you don't, man. You can like Baba picked Curly apart in like 20 minutes, like literally 20 minutes. Like Curly's that air of like untouchableness, right? Like a guy being untouchable. It was gone the day Baba fucking made him look like a bitch on the show, right? I would even venture to say even before that for me, because behind the scenes, a lot of people didn't know that the stream I put up, the Boo Hoo Hoo Big Boy Higgins Strikes Back dungeon stream from like a year and a half ago. Curly was wildly upset about that stream being public because it made him look like a bitch by none other than none other than this guy. Like Jonathan, it's not even a challenge when fucking Higgy Baby like fucking calls you out and makes you look like a bitch. Like to ask me to do that is a bit much. Now look, it's Christmas time. I thought I just want to have time tonight to. It would have been great if I did the show like 2 hours before Archie because I could have rolled it into Archie and then Archie would have continued the shtick. However, I did want to give Curly like poor guy stayed up 9 hours, right? Like poor guy was crying for 9 hours. Like I gotta give him some content. So thought I'd do something super quick for the group. Baba did destroy him. It's like it's so funny. It's like it's like like do you guys do we have like amnesia here? Like do we really have Yeah, actually, Pavel, you're absolutely right. Pyro actually got him first. It's so funny, Pavel. I was thinking about that last night. I was like, because I was thinking about the Higgy situation, but I was like, yeah, but like the Pyro thing was even now. Like the only reason I didn't bring up the Pyro thing, Pavel, was like because obviously Watch Nick has more info of like kind of look. It was on Watch Nicholas's side, and then Curly I think was like getting scared that bondage was maybe looking to take it into the real world. I don't know, right? Like it basically it got heightened tensions. Curly got a little scared, right? And then because Curly doesn't want this going to the real world. He's said that numerous times. He's not about the real world. But the reality is that can you really believe anything Curly says? Hypocrisy LLC. 1 minute he's okay for pay to play, and the next minute he's running a 9-hour stream, basically telling me I'm going to expose Tan, guys. The tell-all, be-all of Tan is this is who you're dealing with, a guy who sends messages that are paid for, and I don't like it, right? This is what Curly is like. This is what he's saying, and I find it so funny. Like, it's hilarious that he'd think that would trigger me, that would cause me to rage and oh, we got ban people. Nah, man, like, yo, is it your first day on the internet, Curly? Like, do I really have to like slow it down for you, make it the troll a bit easy, make it a bit easier of a challenge, right? Curly says I need this guy to run my narrative. Like cool, man. Like again, weak narratives, right? Like they don't really understand that when you're just here for a good time, you're here for a laugh. You don't Curly likes to say he's like that, but then actions speak otherwise, right? Then he runs a 9-hour stream crying about it. So I think you got to look at the actions, as opposed to the words, because 1 minute Curly is championing small business, championing the Trump movement. The other minute he's literally live streaming at the same time as Archie, during the Christmas season. And I'm going to point out the Christmas season as a highlight, right? Look, any other time of the year, all good, right? But like everybody's got bills to pay. Everyone's got, everyone's buying gifts for people. Like really, you're going to take money away from this guy, like during Christmas season. Like, I think that needs to be called out. He's not going to like that I said that. But I mean, you guys in the chat, tell me how you see it otherwise than that, right? If you don't like Archie or whatever, that's cool. Don't watch his show. But respect the fact that, like, he does bring entertainment to a lot of people. It's just showing that either you don't respect, the viewers, and you don't respect, the people that are in the Archieverse. If you're really going to support that kind of stuff, right? I think that's a bit, and I mean, look, JJ doesn't do that, right? JJ streams, like, before and after or whatever. He respects the slots, because JJ does this as a hobby, right? He doesn't do this as a job, a lot of people are respecting, but Curly somehow, again, thinks that, he can go on one side and crusade on one side, but then, like I said, Hypocrisy LLC, he'll then go and rebel stream Archie slots and think that that's not directly affecting the guy's income. Like, not only that, using the guy's clips and his content when he was specifically asked not to, right? Like, Curly is going to go with the narrative of all is fair in love and war, but you're not going to get away from the narrative that you are taking money off that guy's kids' table at Christmas time. Straight up. I'm sorry. Like, you're going to have to, anybody in the chat, like, I'm happy for anybody in the chat to refute that narrative, but, like, it's just dumb, right? Like, and I don't need to, like, JB had fucking 4 streams up I could have ran clips off of today, right? I don't steal content. I don't need to, right? Like, the boomers who are on their first day on the internet are dealing with a guy who's been here for 7-8 years trolling people. Like, I've seen this channel, go through so many variations, iterations, people, donors, right? Like, I've seen it all here. And that's why I'm not worried. I'm not, I find it hilarious. A lot of people are like, oh, Archie, wave the white flag. I'm like, yo, like, do you not understand Archie's shtick? Like, and this is kind of what I told Archie is, like, I think a lot of the viewers don't really get what you're doing, because Archie thinks this is trolling. He thinks that, like, hey, boo, I love you, boo, come back. You know what I mean? He thinks that, like, the off chance that Curly may come back out of sympathy, and the other chance of, like, he thinks that people think it's funny. Now, somewhat funny, I guess, but it gets boring after a while. I think Archie needs a bit of coaching. Curly is the only full-time professional watch streamer. I'm gonna just drop the word professional, watch Nick, on that, because I think Curly makes a lot of mistakes. And I'd say, look, yesterday's stream was a big one, right? On multiple levels, right? Like, Curly's opened himself up to multiple narratives, right? Let's go with a simple narrative, right? Do you think it's justified for Curly to run a show on a donor, right? Somebody who's supported Archie, who's sent money to not only Archie's channel but Mookie's channel, right? Like, this is, if we want to call it out, I mean, not only sent money to Mookie, sent Mookie the links, promoted Mookie for over a year, 2 years, a year and a half, whenever Mookie started, right? Like, I gave the green light to help him out. Like, just on that level, that what do you get in return is a 9-hour stream, basically, trying to insult somebody or whatever. Like, any donor that donates to Curly, if I can be subject to that and I, donate, a considerable amount, like, any donor could be subject to that. And I think a lot of donors and viewers understand that. And that's why people don't really speak up. And that's why, I have 60 viewers watching at 11 o'clock in the morning, because, I think a lot of viewers that send me messages on. Now, I agree with Curly. Nobody's really left the Archieverse. Like, nobody's that much of a bitch to be scared of Curly, for that long. But, a lot of people don't speak up. And, when I call Curly out for, taking money out of Archie's pocket during Christmas time, like, I'm going to call that motherfucker out. I'm sorry. Like, he's not going to be happy about that. Like, little shit like calling him a saboteur, like, really pisses him off. Like, Curly, come on. Like, refute that narrative, because you are doing that. Whether you want to help the guy or not, that is the reality. And that is going to be spun. And that is going to be told to anybody watching the Archieverse. And look, if that's really what you want to do during Christmas time is do that, I mean, really question your own motives of being the Archieverse, I'd say. Jefferson Exotic, $5. Appreciate it, Jefferson Exotic. No need a super chat, guys. I'm just talking a bit of shit before just before lunch from everybody. Tan, I'm conflicted. Archie is one of my heroes, an icon, but Curly makes me LOL. Can there be a truce? You can end the war, Tan. Yes. Jefferson Exotic. I'll give you we'll talk about behind the scenes. I actually did step in about 2 weeks ago. Me and Tommy's obviously on Curly's side. It's not surprising. Everybody knows that. Tommy sent me a message saying, hey, do you mind hopping on a private stream? It's just me and Curly. Let's talk it out. And I had a chat with those guys offline. And I said, look, my only beef is Archie said, please don't use my content. Look, you guys are benefiting off of him. Your shtick is Tim O'Sheen content. If that's what you're telling me, that your content is only now catering to the OC channel, the colony, right? Because that's their narrative, right? Is Our viewers are not the Archieverse. There's no shared audience anymore. Our viewers are the colony who don't like Archie and have no interest in Archie. Like, and I'm not even going to call out people's names because the colony people are not, they're innocent in this. They're civilians, right? Like, why would I call them out? But Curly, thinks that like, well, my audience is now the colony. And then what's great about this whole narrative is every day Curly runs an Archie narrative is every day those guys don't give a shit about watching it, and yeah, maybe he picks up one big donor that's, comes around every fucking 5 months. That's cool, right? But, I play the long game, baby. I play the long game. I'm not going nowhere. Like, and really think about it, right? JB said, Tan, you underestimated, how many people support Marcelo. And I asked the question, I'm like, but hold on, nobody knows supporting Marcelo's channel better than me. I've been supporting that guy's channel for over a year. And yeah, it's great during the big drama days, right? The birthdays and, the Bangkok streams, those are big. Just like right now, right? Because I'm fueling a lot of that drama, right? Like, when I'm fueling a lot of that drama, when I'm writing the script, when I'm doing the narrative, you're benefiting off of it. That's why I call JB a bit of an amateur, because it's like, like if I'm in your chat giving you content, like even though you're not, I guess, you're not capable enough to refute my narrative. I guess, look, hey, JB said it himself. He's not a YouTuber, right? He's new. You're not listening to Curly. Like, either the Curly's giving you bad advice or y'all are not talking. I don't know which one it is, but either way, it just makes y'all look bad. And it's just, it's like, like, do you really think that, like, did you really think it was smart to run a 9-hour stream the next day after a poll of 100 people calling you a poison pill in the Archieverse to then attack the guy who literally has been the lifeline keeping the fucking show going? Like, because let's go real talk here, right? Let's say that somehow, I didn't have thick skin, and I was so upset that Curly ran a 9-hour stream, basically saying I don't like the fact that Tan pays super chats for content, right? What would have been the outcome, right? I don't come around anymore, and then what, right? Is Curly gonna go pick up the streams? Is JB gonna donate $300? Like, what's gonna happen, right? And I think that they don't understand that line of crossing with donors, it's basically like attacking your customer. Like, this is why I called out Marcelo. It's like, like, I was not only a customer, but I was also like a friend. Like, you fucking called me when you were at your absolute lowest. I made me talk to the Thai police for you. Like, you were crying in the streets. Like seriously, like, you want to, like, go and then guy who's helped you so much and then run like narratives. Like, what do you think anybody who's going to realize that you're just a fucking scumbag, that everybody already knew? Like, this is why I'm not surprised. This is why I never responded to it, because I'm like, like, this is Marcelo. Like, what you're getting into with this guy. Yeah, 1 minute he may be on your side, 1 minute he may not, right? That's okay. I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that. But if you really want to know the gist of it, is the guy's a fucking scumbag. Like, I fucking helped this guy actually in real life. He's being a scumbag. So, and I think that's where JB and Curly don't understand, right? They think attacking me, is going to somehow gain them kudos, or it's going to lower my profile. And what they don't understand is, number one, I really don't care, about profile. Like I said, I come here, I super chat, I have a good time, ask Archie some questions, I troll people, I leave, right? Like, that's very simple. Number two, I actually meet people in person. I've met Toyota Mo. I've met Mike the Snake. I've met, Jamie Opulence. I've met Dodger. I've met OC. I've met all these guys, right? They all know me, man. They all know who I am. They've all seen me in person. They all know, like, there's no secret here. Like, JB and Curly are trying to unravel the secrets of the mystery of the character Patel Philippe, right? They're, oh, he's too scared. He hides behind proxies. The funniest narratives. They're so, like, this is why I'm laughing at how stupid their narratives are. It's like, I think one of the narratives is like, you and Wash Nicholas are in cahoots. I mean, Wash Nicholas doesn't even stream anymore. Like, the dude does a couple of polls, and this is the funniest part, Nikki baby, is your polls actually fucking trigger these guys. That's how, like, sad it is you don't even need to run. This is what I'm telling people. Like, you don't have to outstream Curly, but when it's prison yard rules, man, you make them bitch. This is why the Christmas card salesman narrative I ran last year in December hit him so hard, right? Or the Higgy narrative, when it was the dungeon, hit him so hard, is because he's vulnerable. He doesn't want people to realize that if you talk back or if you refute him, then other people are going to refute him, which are then going to make him less popular. And that's why this 101 votes triggered him so hard to do a 9-hour stream complaining about a donor, right? And I asked the other donors to look around the room and say, do you really honestly believe that if you ever cross this guy, that he wouldn't do that to you? Like literally wouldn't do that to you. Because let me ask you, if it was really like, because if it wasn't me and if it was anybody else, right? You know, that donor could have just said, fuck this. I'm not hanging around this fucking place anymore. And they bounce, right? Like that is what Curly is actually doing with what he's Curly says, I never scare people away from the Archivist, never do that. Attacking me, and he knew that I wouldn't care. So like that's why he did it. But it still shows his colors that he would do that. He would attack a donor, irrespective of if the donor maybe is not there and therefore doesn't see it or whatever. But that's who Curly is, right? I'm a little disappointed in Mookie for supporting that. I think that like look, it's on Mookie's channel. Mookie benefits from it financially. Mookie is not without sin in this. I don't have a problem with Mookie, but I think that it's a little, it's really distasteful to see this from these guys, right? Because they're trying to spin the narrative that they are the rebels, right? That they are the righteous cause, right? Well, what's so righteous about fucking taking money off some guy's kid's table in Christmas? Like fun and games are one thing, and I'll say the same thing about Marcelo, right? What is in fun and games about putting fake reviews and ghost shit about on that guy's restaurant? Like all that shit's offside, right? And has no fucking place in the Archieverse, Curlyverse, whatever. I'll speak for all of us. I'd say in that. I think all of us agree. Yeah. I mean, like I don't like to rope people into things, but if it is your channel and you are financially benefiting from this stuff, right? Like you are responsible, right? Like people try to pin Archie's channel on me, but I don't financially benefit from his channel. I'm not the owner. I don't get any kickbacks. I pay money to troll and do that stuff. I pay to play, right? Like, but today's narrative from Curly is, Curly has now gone on a crusade against pay to play. Curly says, apparently, everybody else is allowed. He's allowed to, go and spin narratives on Tim Wright's channel, O'Sheen's channel, Archie's channel, wherever he wants, right? But if I do it, right, or any other donor does it, and he doesn't like what's being said, a little bit of a poll gets put up, the dude goes and runs a 9-hour stream. Like this is how much of a pussy bitch he is, and I haven't responded to these guys in weeks. JB's been running shows for fucking a week and a half, and I've been laughing at it because I'm like, yo, like, do you think I'm dumb? Like, do you think like, obviously me responding, if I went and responded on Archie's show or the dungeon or whatever during prime time, that's why, I'm doing this at 11 a.m. because look, I know Curly's going to play this content for about a week straight, which is great because his OC viewers don't want to see it. Guys like Brody, they met me in person, like, I would say, hey man, when did I ever try to like fucking bribe Brody? Like, the only thing I talked about Brody was his Moser in person, right? Like his people have met me, so they're just going to probably be like, all right, like, we know this guy, but I don't really care, because that's really what it is. Like, I don't care what another donor does. If another donor has a question to super chat, great. That is you paying for your time, paying for your content. I'm happy with that. I don't really call people out for that, but that's what Curly does, right? And so I think it's a bit of a strange narrative that Curly ran yesterday of attacking donors because, that it's kind of counterintuitive. It's the narrative he's running that like, oh, Archie, nobody comes back and Archie's driven all these donors out. Well, you're literally attacking donors on your show like pot kettle black. Unfortunately, for Curly, for JB, it's pot kettle black is all it is. And it's such a weak narrative that like, yeah, I was kind of bored with it. I was like, really, guys? Like, this is the best you could do? Like, this is how you rile me up and you get me angry and you're like, come on, man. Like, now, would I have preferred doing the show at 4:00 my time and rolling into Archie's? Absolutely, right. Better viewership, better timing. It just didn't work out for me today. But I did feel that look, Uncle Curly, or I don't know if we call him Uncle Scrooge now or whatever, because fucking Scrooge is taking money out of Archie's pocket during Christmas. I don't know, fucking Uncle Scrooge over here, is the fucking Grinch is he's a little upset that I put up a poll. Like, guys. Look, Nick, it's I never understood, Nick, why you got so mad about this. Like, you're a lot younger than these guys are. You're closer probably to my age. And like, Like, it's fucking royally funny that you can troll some guy in his late fucking 50s. Like, guys like retired who like literally stay up all night, right? I think Curly said he smoked some lemon kush. I don't know if that weed's any good because like dude's like fucking blood pressure was like through the roof. Through the roof. And that's what I find funny, right? Like, that is the actual troll. Like, when you put up a poll a day ago, get 101 votes in the poll, right? Even though it could be Dirk with 98 fucking troll accounts, 65% of them say Curly's the poison pill of the Archieverse, and this dude runs a fucking like 9-hour stream. You know what I mean? Like, and he gets worked up. Like, and it was just a page out of Nick's book. There's no alignment, there's no alliance, right? Like, Nick and I, yeah, he has got my number. He can message me whenever he wants. Nick goes at me too. It's not like he doesn't, right? I go at him. It's not like I don't, because we're not pussy bitches, man. Like, we're not gonna like cry about it, and run 9-hour streams about it, off a fucking poll. Like, this is how embarrassing Curly is. This is the guy that everybody's scared of, right? This is the guy who can command 90 people, to basically regurgitate Tim and O'Sheen fucking content, which is honestly some of the worst content out there. Who thinks it's smart to attack donors and think that narrative is going to fly. Like, super fucking simple. Super fucking simple. Like, attacking donors, Curly, is the dumbest thing you can do. You call Archie out for doing that, but you're doing the exact same thing. Pot kettle black. This is what I tell you guys. A lot of content creators just don't understand. They don't see it from the audience's point of view, right? And that's when JB tries to say, well, Tan, you're trying to be a celebrity. No, I'm just trying to make sure that the content, as from a viewer perspective, is more aligned to be exciting, because this is what you want, right? JB does 4 shows, completely fails on making a live stream, finally gets his point across, and his point kind of just fizzles out. His point of, the tell all about Tan behind the scenes is literally like, Tan sent me a few messages letting me know that, like, Watch Nicholas is streaming. Like, 300 people in the Archie Luxury WhatsApp group get those messages every day from me. So JB unfortunately underestimated the narrative. He overestimated the narrative. It was again a weak narrative, but look, I felt it was, I felt that the content, the audience, 60 viewers that are here listening to this dribble over lunch, I felt that the audience was, they deserve to hear it, right? It's going to add a bit of the content. It's going to give you guys a bit of stuff. Bear Clooney, hopefully, he's going to be on tonight with Archie. He's in the chat. I'm sure he's working today, so not able to do that. But I'm sure he'll be there tonight. Dirk Diggler also wouldn't want people. Also, wouldn't you want people in your chat? Never made sense to me saying that. Yeah, like banning people from the chat. Like, I mean, he banned Dirk Diggler. JB banned me from Marcelo's chat. Like, do you not want like people in the chat? Like, it makes no sense. I saw the ban list today in the dungeon. It was like a few people. It was like Curly. It was Joe Bling and like somebody else. And I banned everybody. I was like, yo, like, I mean, it's a fucking dungeon. Like, of all fucking places, like, people should not be banned here. Everybody's allowed in the chat. People are allowed to say what they want. Free speech, guys. Like, Curly's always, he's done fucking 3,000 streams about Trump, but he's acting like a fucking socialist. Saying, well, I don't like capitalism. I don't like pay to play anymore, guys. No pay to play. Curly has gone on this whole stop the pay to play, guys. Stop the pay to play, because Curly, unfortunately, he doesn't like it. Like, it's his first day on the internet, guys. I'm sorry. Like, you got to be a little. If you're trying to, okay, I'll give you guys some advice on trolling Curly, because I trolled him for years. I have actually said numerous times I relish the opportunity to troll Curly because it's funny. I don't particularly get upset about it. He gets a little upset. I think he got a little upset yesterday, guys. Not gonna lie. But for the most part, he usually takes it pretty well. It's his first day on the internet. Guy got a little triggered. I put up a poll. 100 people voted in it. Like, and I guess what's important for you guys to understand about Curly, like I said, was his weaknesses are that if you make him look like a bitch, like Baba did, right? Like Pyro did, like Higgins did, right? That like many people have done, right? Then he's got nothing. He's got nothing. Like, you guys, like, literally saw how Baba dismantled Curly multiple times. Curly tried to, like, save it, I think, like, by coming on again and talking to Baba, during that first incident. But, like, man, like, when I saw that, I was just like, yo, I mean, look, he's a little sensitive, and I gotta tone it down, right? So, but hey, if Curly's gonna call out Pay to Play, like, I gotta call him out for being Hypocrisy LLC, not Circular Drama LLC. I'll tell you what his Circular Drama LLC is Curly attacking a donor who he believes attacked another donor, right? That's his fucking circular logic. You know, and then Curly thinking it's smart to attack donors, right? Because like, look, if he can attack me, he can attack any of you guys, right? Any of that money you're sending him, and look, I'll be honest with you, Mookie lets it happen, like straight up. If you guys think Mookie is some like fucking nice guy who's just staying out of it, like I mean, he's profiting from this, right? So I got to hold him accountable as well. It's his fucking channel, right? If he's profiting off of it, it's his channel, right? So Mookie is either complacent to it or complicit to it. And look, hey, that's the message they want to send. Cool. I mean, I'll call it out too. Like like JJ says, I call it like I see it, right? I call it like I see it. And Curly Rebel streams Archie during his slots, directly taking money off Archie's table, during Christmas. That is a fact, right? There's multiple streams that you can see where he did it, in the morning show with Lux. Many of you guys don't watch the morning show, but that is a show that the Australians really want. Archie does it for his Australian audience, doesn't really do it for the money, doesn't make a lot of money on that show, and still does it, right? Like, for what purpose, right? Like, really ask yourself, for what purpose? To annoy Archie? Curly thinks it's fun, right? Curly, I think he said yesterday on the show, he's like, I'm against toxicity and, all the toxic people in the Archieverse, which includes me. I think he thinks I'm the leader of it, let's say, are against fun, right? And what have I said today that's toxic? What have I said today that's not factual, right? None of this is toxic. But what is toxic is attacking a donor like me, for example, who has promoted Mookie's channel, who has donated to Mookie's channel, has helped you guys. Just an FYI for everybody, when Curly ran the stream about releasing the data or the official statement against O'Sheen using bots, right? Like, I told them that intel 6 months before that, and him and Mookie refused to run it because they were like, well, O'Sheen's kind of cool with us right now, so we don't want to rock the boat. Like, straight up pussies, like, is who they are. You guys think that the champions, all these guys in the colony, you think these guys are the champions of truth, right? Like yo, they're not. Like, they're just straight pussies. Like, I would have released that content that day. I showed them that I'm like, yo, like, I can see this website is sending bots to that link, which is directly O'Sheen's show. And I showed them not only once, I showed them multiple times on a Friday when it happened, saying, bots are being sent to this. Like, it's totally public. Anybody can do it. Mookie knows how to do it. I showed him how to do it. Like, y'all, everyone's all worried about Mookie being this like crazy hacker computer. I'm the one who fucking told them. Like, when Curly says Tan doesn't have Mookie's software, yeah, I don't need it, bro. Like, I don't need it. Like, you're dealing with a formidable force that doesn't need that shit. Because I can just call it out. I can call out facts. I can call out the simplest narratives without having to run 9 hours, without having to scream, without having to do any of that stuff, right? Like, and the reality is, y'all got no evidence. Y'all got no evidence, right? Like, the best, I think the funniest thing to me today was JB, crying about the fact that people were calling him out for putting, a show about me, right? Because look, I think a lot of people understand that attacking donors, Curly himself used to use the term, people are civilians, right? Like, I think a lot of people realize that, like, they're like, yo, like, we kind of like the fact that this guy, keeps the show alive or keeps content going, or even goes on the shows and donates his own time, volunteers his own time to talk watches for us, right? We don't think it's cool for you to do that to him, right? But they still do it, right? But this is who they are. This is who Marcelo is. This is who Curly is. This is who JB is, right? They're when they talk about milking donors, right? That's what they're doing, right? But if you want to look at the flip side, right? And classic example, 2-3 days ago when I did a live stream and Yankee Doodle super chatted $2 asking a watch question. And I said, Yankee Doodle, I notice every single time you super chat, Archie doesn't give you value for your money. So I'll give you fucking 10-20 minutes of value to talk about your super chat, right? People recognize that. People have met me. Like, Curly and JB are avatars on the internet. These people have met me. I think Dirk Diggler said it himself on what's it called? I think it was on JB's show. He says, I met Tan. He's a low-key guy or some shit. Like, I think that's where JB and Curly, unfortunately, underestimate the community, underestimate people, and look, attacking, people that just help out, unfortunately, is not a very popular narrative. It's a simple narrative to refute. I'm surprised you guys went down that path, but look, when you're desperate, when you've got no content, when you're grasping at straws, because, I'm literally manhandling you with trolling by literally putting up one poll where 101 people voted against Curly. 101 people, right? 101 people. Curly thinks he's Curly's the new pontiff, right? Curly's so popular that 101 people, 98 dirt trolls and maybe, two or three real people vote Curly as the poison pill of the Archivist, because you know what? Maybe they believe that's what it is, right? They believe that the toxicity actually came from Curly, and I'm not going to say that I wasn't a part of that. I absolutely was. Like, JB and these guys are like, oh, you hide behind the scenes, or it's like, nah, man, I'm front and center, baby. Do you think people don't see my super chats? Do you think people have not seen content made about me over the years? Like, very simple that it's being in there. But it's just super simple in the sense that, like, JB just, yeah, he unfortunately underestimated it. Yeah, Magpie, I'll take a break. I'll take a bit of a vape and see what's going on in the chat. Let's see what's happening here. What is Dirk Diggler saying? JB does not have a show or a channel. Yeah, but neither does Tan, right? Like, what show and channel do I have? I'm just the same as you, right? I'm the same as you, and I think I can call it out the same way too. JB is calling out donors. I mean, it's a bit below the belt. If that's what you guys want to roll with, I can easily fucking call that out every day. That, like, yeah, anybody who super chats Curly, I mean, look at the treatment I got. I told that story about Marcelo. Fucking save that guy's fucking ass in Bangkok in real life, and the kind of thank you get from that guy. Simply when you say, as every donor has that right to say, you know what, it's not the content I want to see. I'm just going to move on and go somewhere else. That's the kind of people you're dealing with. So JB, I mean, your narrative is pretty weak. It's pretty easy to expose, and there's a lot of angles to hit you guys on. And unfortunately, I told Bear, I'm like, yo, man, like, you can send in the air, fucking, the air squad's coming in, because I'm about to fucking hit multiple targets here. Because look, it's JB's first day on the internet. It's Curly's first day on the internet, guys. Like, we got to be a little soft with them. Like, you put up a poll, they get a little triggered, right? Do 9-10 hours of streams. Like, I get it, man. I get it. Boomers, right? Like, it's like teaching your grandpa to fucking use Facebook. Yeah, this is exactly it. All taking care about New York was blunt. Yeah, man. I mean, it's all good. It's how it is, right? But yeah, it's like JB thinks he's on 10. Like, it's demanding attention, man. Like, it's straight up how it is. He's demanding to come on the panel. Like, this dude literally banned me. Like, and he said it on his stream. Like, this is how dumb he is. He fucking says it on the stream that he banned me. I banned Tan, is what he said. Banned him, right? This soy motherfucker, right? Says he's from the streets. This soy motherfucker is like, I banned this guy. It's like, bro, yo, seriously? Like, you're that much of a pussy bitch to ban somebody? Like, cool, man. Like, all right, I didn't ban you. And now he's demanding to come on the stream. Right? He has to fucking refute the narrative, right? Like, he's so angry. Like, come on, man. Like, JB, look, I'm doing a kindness to you here. I'm giving you some content. I'm doing a kindness to you and Curly. Right? I think you're not understanding. You're not on the same level. Yeah. Do I think your trolling is beneath me? Absolutely. Like, attacking donors. Do you think that's a good narrative? Curly's narrative against, like, this is who Tan is, right? He pays to play. He pays to do this. It's toxic, right? None of the past 2 years have been any good, because of this, right? Clearly, like, doesn't realize that I could pull up clips of him, really, touting his love for the Darwin trip or the London trip or Watch Time New York. Like, come on, man. Like, so easy. Like, not even a challenge. So, yeah, look, I mean, I'll agree with you on that level, JB. Yeah, you and Curly are beneath me in trolling. But look, hey, the master has to come out, give a bit of a master class, give you guys a bit of a lesson. Bear's going to be on tonight. I think it's going to be great with Bear. He's going to kind of talk to Archie. He's going to have some fun with Archie tonight. But yeah, look, JB, I thought I'd give you a bit of a Christmas present here. I'm doing you a kindness, right? We're the bigger channel. Like, let's not misunderstand, right? Like, Archie's got 100,000 fucking subs, real subs, between Archie Luxury and Paul Pluto. Like, let's not get things twisted. I'm not a celebrity. Bear's not a celebrity. JB's not a celebrity. Curly, whoever. None of us are. None of the sidekicks. Nobody who's springboarded off the Archie Luxury channel is a celebrity. Okay. Jay Anthony, you can argue probably is, because he had his own channel for 7 years, and then never been on Archie's show. That guy actually is probably a YouTube celebrity. But not me, right? I'm just some guy, like you said, who comes on. I like to troll, like to super chat. And that's really it. Now, then JB just, he's a little confused. He's like, well, when I attack 10, 50 people come messaging me saying it's a bit uncool. Yeah, because, like, nobody likes the attacking donor shtick. It's like, it was 101 from last year, and this is the same mistake you're making last year. Just, it's not Suckerhorn making it. It's not Bear making it. It's fucking Curly and JB making it. And I have to kind of say, like, calling people out for for pay to play is for pay to play, it's just that, right? It's just that this JB, I will agree with you, right? The narrative of they all come back. I don't think Mark Goldberg understands, because that's not actually true. What's actually true is they don't all come back, but the Archieverse evolves. So if you ever look back, and I'll challenge anybody to do this, because again, unlike JB and Curly, I actually talk facts that I can back up, easily show content that I don't need to steal theirs to show. I don't need to pause something and drag it out for 9 hours, bro. I'll do a quick 2-hour stream, eat my lunch. Curly will reel from this, start crying. I'm sure him and Mookie are talking about a response, right now. And look, like, I mean, that's just going to benefit me because you're just going to keep talking about us. Great. Like that's exactly what I want. Like, if they think that I'm like upset about that, no, I'm actually over the moon, right? Like, I'd probably be upset if you just didn't talk about us and you did Tim O'Sheen content, maybe, right? Because then we're not getting any benefit from that. And then Archie will just probably sit on his show going, hey, boo. And then it's not going to go anywhere, right? Like, this is the thing. Curly, JB, they're so triggered. They see red. And, I've told this to a lot of people. I said, look, in the Archieverse, you don't feed the troll, right? You feed the troll, and that's when it gets out of hand, right? Like, respond to stuff that's worth responding to. Don't respond to small channels. Like, like I said, I'm doing a kindness to JB. His channel's a lot smaller. He credits, he actually gave me a lot of credit for resparking Marcelo's channel again now with more viewership because of the drama that I created, right? He called me out. He said it himself. Tan created this drama. He says it backfired on Tan. Like, all the viewers, like, no, it didn't actually, because this is the content we want to see, right? This is the content we enjoy seeing. So, that's why I said, I'll do a stream. I'll play ball, right? Because it's all real funny and stuff like that. But that's it. The people that reached out to me were people that were confused why you were reaching out to them when they didn't even know you like that. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm happy to have any of those people share those screen messages with me. Happy to see that because it's untrue. Never really sent those messages to people that don't know me that well. I mean, that's kind of it. So you did okay. So I didn't really talk about all the people. So Curly said, JB said, what do you think of these people? So Curly, I talked about, don't really have a problem with them. I do feel he's going offside with, really, rebel streaming Archie slots at Christmas time. It's a bit shitty to do that. I mean, like, literally everyone's, let's be real here. Like, everyone's got, this is his job, right? Like, and this on the same tip, anybody who's fucking putting up shit on Marcelo's restaurant is a scumbag as well. Like, that's his job. Do not fucking do that. Like, that's fucking dumb. So Curly, I talked about Mookie. Like I said, I got no problems with Mookie. I like his content. I do feel he's complicit to this. He does benefit from the super chat. So, attacking donors, Mookie's benefiting off of it. That's a simple fact. Anybody can see that. Marcelo, I talked about. I said, look, I'm not even talking money and drama. That guy was at his fucking lowest, and I fucking helped him in real life when he was crying in the middle of the streets of Bangkok, because he lost his fucking passport. Like, I mean, that's the kind of friend he is. He's a scumbag. Everybody knew that. Not really surprising. My thoughts on JB. Now, here's a surprising thing, JB. I actually, I understand why you're beefing. Like, I get it, right? Like, he's your boy. You want to have your boys back. Like, I get it, right? Like, I get it. And look, I don't get angry that he, it's JB driving the narrative. Because look, I don't think some of these narratives, as much as JB thinks Marcelo is like, agreeing to them, I've heard directly from Marcelo that, like, like he's like, look, Tan, like, because Marcelo said this to me, by the way, last year when Archie threw me out last year and they were running the attacking the donor narrative. Marcelo sent me a message saying, Tan, I don't understand why anyone would do that. Like, even though, like, you have a problem with them, you've contributed, you've helped them out so much, like, it's like literally talking shit about your customer who's left. Like, nobody does that. Like, in what business world does that ever exist? But I mean, you're dealing with two avatars who are two guys who are new to the internet, right? They don't really understand, right? And this is why I told Watch Nick earlier. I'm like, bro, like really, like, you get triggered over some fucking 50-year-old dude who's like, crying 9 hours over a fucking pole, man. Like, that's pretty sad, man. Because I find it very funny. I like, when Bear, messaged, and I was talking to Bear last night about, Curly was on and Bear sent me a message. I said, Bear, this is exactly what I wanted, right? This is the exact effect that I wanted. JB is like, let's hear behind the scenes, right? Now, look, JB, one thing you also need to understand is people don't really like, I don't like to know how the sausage is made. I just like to consume the fast food. I really don't want to understand how, like, McDonald's makes it. You know what I mean? Like, we all like McDonald's breakfast. Nobody really gives a fuck about, making the sausage. However, JB thinks that is going to benefit, right? They think attacking donors is going to benefit them, right? Well, I mean, all those people that know me in real life are probably like, they're like, look, Curly, hey, we like your show, we like you, we like your content, but we like this guy too, and we don't really, because I'm gonna call it out and say, you know what, if Curly can do that to me, do you think he can't do that to anybody else who's donating money? Absolutely, he can, and he has done it to people. And that's just the unfortunate truth, guys. It's a sad truth. I didn't want to have to say it. I like Curly. Unfortunately, him and JB, dug themselves in this hole of driving a narrative where they're against pay to play. I think JB is, I think JB somehow thinks he's got a right to have an opinion on what I super chat, right? Like, I'm sorry, JB, that my hard-earned money, right, the $5 that I'm sending to ask a question about a Patek Philippe watch, you have a right to have an opinion on what how I spend my money, right? Like, again, all these Trump guys, Curly and JB, who believe that they have a right to tell me how I'm supposed to spend my money. All these Trump guys are the biggest fucking socialists out there. That's capitalism at its finest, baby. Like, we should be all about. This is a good one, Ben. Ben, I read the chat. Like, I don't just talk. I read the chat, right? I skim through it. I find stuff that's good, but Ben's like, stop cherry picking fucking comments. But this is a good one, Ben. A fat windbag Ben. Tan, you sound like a racehorse commentator at the Kentucky Derby as the horses are 100 meters to the line. Let me talk about fat windbag Ben for you guys. So many of these guys, Curly, Mookie, and many others were against fat windbag Ben when he got, when Tim, basically OC kind of fucked fat windbag Ben over. I don't know if you guys ever remember this, but I'll tell you this story. So Patrick Philippe, a few months ago, at some point in before Tim's explosion and loss of his main viewership, Patrick Philippe went on Tim Wright's show and said, hey man, like I want to move. Me and him were doing a troll where we were trying to convince Tim that like we were going to come over to his side. Patrick actually went on the stream. And I think he like was explaining to like OC that like fat windbag Ben was like, a reason why he wouldn't come over. And I was saying the same thing to Fat Windbag Ben, to OC as well. I said, look, I'm happy to come over if you get rid of Fat Windbag Ben, because Fat Windbag Ben was their only kind of level of defense at the time, right? We had Curly, we had Narc, you had Tan, you had Bear, you had Nick, you had all of us hitting them. And all they had was Fat Windbag Ben, right? And OC was like, initially was like, well, and OC said this to us. He said, why would I give up our only line of defense, which is Fat Windbag Ben? Now, I think Timmy, as much as Tim, and this is why Timmy hates pay to play as well. I think Timmy got a little too excited with the opportunity of making money. Maybe Patrick Philippe and Tan, two of the biggest donors in the Archieverse, come over, and he ends up booting Fat Windbag Ben, which is exactly what we wanted, because Fat Windbag Ben is not really, like, as much as he loves Tim. Fat Windbag Ben is a big Tim supporter. I don't have an issue with him doing that. He's also a big Archie supporter. He loves the drama. And so, guys like Curly, guys like, they didn't like him, right? Because they said, oh, Fat Windbag Ben's a doxer and this and that, right? Like, and now he's completely normalized, right? And it's funny how they adopt all the people that they hated, right? Like, when it, I think JB asked, like, Tan, have you ever come on Marcelo's panel and helped him out? Yeah, bro, I did. Do you not remember the day that he had Rusty come on and say, fuck Muslims? Like, did you not remember that day? Because I do. Right, that's the kind of treatment I got actually going on that channel, bro. But hey, Marcelo is somebody you should defend, right? He's innocent, completely innocent, right? But yeah, like I mean, how often does Curly go on that channel, right? Like, and I knew this, right? I knew that the second I ended support for Marcelo, that was the trap, right? That was the trap that I wanted them to fall into, was their support for Marcelo, because it's easy to comment, right? Because either Curly has to adopt a son and adopt Marcelo, right? Like, and you heard it yesterday when Marcelo hopped on Curly's stream. Curly was annoyed. This is exactly what I wanted, boys. Like, this is, I mean, JB, look, you give me a little too much credit. I don't think I'm a mastermind, but like, this is exactly what I wanted, was Marcelo to go on Curly's stream and start derailing, right? Curly, smart enough, noticed that was happening. He kicked him off. He's like, no, you're not staying on my stream, right? Just like I did with Goldberg that day when Goldberg came on my stream, on the Hey Boo stream that I did 2 weeks ago. That's the right play Curly did. But that's exactly what I wanted, because I want Curly to adopt a son, right? It's great, that you want to adopt. You guys can go cry in the wind in the periphery channels forever. I'm good with that, because I'm chilling in the Archieverse, hanging out with Archie Luxury, fucking talking watches, having a good time with my boys. Like, that's just how it is. And I'm good with that. right? Like they think it's about winning, right? They think it's like, oh, Tan, the super chats are down, and you should. I think Curly said this to me on the stream offline. He said, Tan, you're the only one super chatting, and I said, Curly, like, bro, like I think you're new, right? Like, if we're talking the COVID era, like the time when JJ, Lolex, Marco, and them were on, I'm not going to say that they didn't influence a good part of the show, and I believe they did, including JJ, right? I got nothing bad to say about JJ. I think he did actually influence the show in a very good way. However, that was COVID time. Nobody's channels are, where there's like fucking 50 different donors showing up. Like it's not happening, right? If you look at years before that, or even current times, even last year when Archie made the most money he's ever made, you know, it was majority, part for me, and everybody knows that. It's like they're not saying anything that people don't know, but what is the real, what is the real intent, right? Is when you attack the one guy who's trying to keep the show on, right? Like do like watch shows, and like I very rarely do drama shows. I do them, every once in a while when I feel like it, and it's funny, right? But yeah, I mean, like what's Curly's real intent, right? Like you know if you really come to the lowest common denominator, right, is Curly runs a show to attack Archie's donor. That's a simple narrative. That's the Locks report, guys. You don't need to listen to 9 hours of him, raising his blood pressure. It's simply Curly attacks Tan for supporting Archie. Okay, that's what it is at the very simplest, lowest common denominator. Well, what do you think he wants, right? Do you think he wants Tan to leave? Of course he does, because that's exactly how he perceives winning. He perceives winning as Archie's downfall, right? Now, that's not how I perceive winning. I perceive winning as this. This is winning, guys. 101 votes. Biggest poison pill in the Archieverse. Pisses Curly off so much that guy runs a 9-hour stream talking about me, right? Talking about the Archieverse, talking about all this stuff. That is winning. Not fucking like, oh, we just got to attack the guy's donors. And look, you want to run that shtick. I'm gonna counter that shtick all day long, right? I'm gonna call out every one of your donors saying, how do you know that's not going to be you one day? Right? Straight up. How do you know? And it has been. It's not just been me, right? Dirk Diggler's been subjected to the same fucking treatment. Not been just me, right? Like, it's actually like it's something that they claim Archie does, but they do themselves, right? Pot kettle black. That's exactly it. We got the original OC in the chat. Let's pull up what he says. Great panels, great personalities, and great content will always rise to the top. Toxicity and negativity will always push high quality panels and supporters away. Channels decide the direction. Yeah, I agree with that, right? I think that OC's statement applies to regular watch channels. Okay, think of like Bark and Jack. Think of Jenny L. Like those channels that are trying to be serious business channels. Okay, Archie's channel is a satire channel. It's a comedy channel, right? It's not to be taken seriously, right? I don't take what Curly said, to heart, right? They somehow think I get upset when another donor is sending them money. Like, it's like, cool, man. Like, okay. Like she can send her money wherever she wants. Like, I'm good with that. Like, I just, yeah, I'm in the Archieverse. I like that. Whatever you guys do doesn't really bother me. Like, it's not, it's not the case. Now, what I do find funny, like I said, is when I put up a poll, like literally a little poll, and the dude runs a 9-hour stream, like that just shows how weak Curly is, right? It just shows that like he's got no actual like strategy. He's just shooting from the hip, and I used to, they bring up the time with me and Watch Nicholas. They bring up the time with me and Watch Nicholas where last year they're like, well, Tan attacked Archie with Watch Nicholas. That is true, right? I'm not going to deny that. That is true. Archie threw me out, and me and Watch Nick teamed up, and then we went at Archie, and I literally, defeated fucking Curly, Bear, Suckahorn, ER, all those guys all at the same time, right? They begged me to fucking come back, right? Like, super simple. And, it's I'm just like, yo, I tell people, like, Curly Ring, and I'm like, Leo, I can literally troll this guy with a poll, and he'll run a stream for 9 fucking hours. Like, it's super simple. So, that's why I tell, I don't see, I don't really see the, and then they're trying to spin, like, this is how they run their narrative, right? They attack a donor, then they try to tie that donor to who they believe is unpopular, right? They believe that Watch Nicholas is unpopular. And then they're like, well, Tan is with Watch Nicholas, and, he supports X and he supports Y and he does this. And I say, number one, you got zero proof or evidence of that. JB claims he's got people who I've talked to that I don't even talk to on, on WhatsApp. I'd love for him to show that evidence. I'm happy for you to show those messages, JB, because they don't exist, right? And that's the actual narrative, right? Is when you actually call these fools out, they're going to backtrack, right? if Curly actually runs the show, for days on days on days after this, it's exactly what I want, right? Keep talking about us, bro. I agree that you're promoting us. I agree with that. I just don't like the fact that Archie is asking you for something you don't want to do it. Like, look, the guy fucking helped you. Like, you're disrespecting him by saying, well, fuck you. I built my whole fucking shtick off of your show, and you asked me for a simple request and I don't want to do it, even though that's not even my core content, right? Like, I would agree with Curly if that was his core content. If Archie's content was Curly's core of how he ran his channel, yeah, I'd be like, okay, well, we're kind of taking away this guy's only way of making income. However, Curly's main method of content is Tim and O'Sheen. So when Archie asks him simply not to use his content, Curly is spitefully doing that. And that you need to understand is the action. That tells you who Curly really is. Curly attacks a donor. He attacks Archie's top donor, the guy who arguably, he said it himself. I'm paraphrasing what he said. I'm not even fucking saying it from my own point of view. He said it himself. A guy who's kept the show going, and all this other stuff. Like, for what reason, right? For what reason? Likely to probably try to scare people away. And unfortunately, look, like, you got to understand, the only way to treat Curly, the only way to beat Curly is literally to bitch slap him, and just tell him, look, man, like, just make him look like a fool, because he really made himself look like a fool. 9 hours fucking streaming, like, simping a donor. That's literally what he was doing, bro. Like, you're literally sitting in there for 9 hours simping a donor, on a narrative that you thought that donor wanted to hear. Like, it's such a shitty narrative. It's so, like, predictable, and I get it, right? Like, I get it. You got to make Mookie money, right? Like, Curly's employee of the month, right? Employee of the month. But, like, you have to understand, like, that narrative can't be run day on day on day, but I can use that narrative day on day on day on day, saying, why are you supporting Curly? Curly literally is fucking taking money off of Archie's table during Christmas. Straight up, he is. He rebel streams his fucking slots. Like, straight up takes money from Archie's table. Doesn't respect the slots. Like, if he did what JJ did, JJ's completely respectful. Even though JJ trolls Archie and, says whatever, that's cool. But JJ does it on an appropriate time slot, because JJ's not a fucking asshole like that. Curly, he gets so riled up over little shit like this, over little polls, and will cross the line, will attack donors. And, like, I ask any donor, right? If you think it, if it happened to me, do you think it's not going to happen to you, right? And then what? Are you watching a show because you live in fear? I mean, I don't know, right? For the Colony guys, like, I think one day they're going to wake up saying, you know what? Watching Tim's show through Curly's show is kind of pathetic. I, like, the guy kicked me out of the fucking channel. Like, why am I watching his show through somebody else, right? Like, this is the actual real fallacy, I would say, in any longevity for Curly, or any drama stream for that. Drama, like, we all know, has a short shelf life, and you gotta capture that shelf life. You gotta really harness that shelf life, because eventually it dwindles away, right? We lose content, people leave. JB was right. People don't come back, right? New people show up. That's actually what happens is, you don't have the same people at all points in time, right? But I think it's naive to think that every business keeps every single customer for fucking, like, forever. I think it's natural business. It's not something that's uncommon. But I mean, again, it's JB and Curly's first day on the internet. Those guys are, they're a little sensitive to stuff, right? They'll run 9-hour streams because you put up a poll trolling them. Like, I feel for a guy like Dirk Diggler, who literally got the gulag treatment from Curly and Mookie, for simply just trolling, right? This is who Curly is. This is who JB literally banned me. He came in here demanding the link to hop on to refute what I'm saying, right? JB's had about, a week and a half worth of shows where he's, had his narrative. This is my first response in about a week and a half, right? And demanding, because, bro, I can dismantle these guys in a fucking hour and a half. I don't need 9 hours, right? I don't need, I got 80 fucking people watching at fucking 12 o'clock. Like, this is how much people Curly has on his main fucking show. Like, bro, like, do you think that, like, do you think that I'm fucking scared of you guys? Like, come on. And look, like, I mean, I'm treating you guys like, like the boomers you are. Look, I have to explain to Curly that, look, people are going to troll you on the internet, Curly, and, they're going to put up polls. This guy right here has put up many polls, and every single time you get so angry. You're getting angry over a guy in his 30s, like, some kid who's literally just having a good time on the internet, fucking trolling. You get so. And I'm not talking about any of the recent stuff. I'm talking about, like, when you and him were together, and you guys were, having your shtick at the time, right? You get so angry over a guy who's literally doing this, that, like, you held the grudge for so long with Watch Nicholas, because Curly is also, Curly is literally the same. He's doing the same thing that, like, I think his viewers do by watching him watch the Tim stuff, right? Like, he basically, is such a, he's kind of gotten like beaten housewife syndrome, with Watch Nicholas, that like he just can't stop talking about him. He can't stop. Like literally, they're running a narrative right now that like me and Watch Nicholas are like in cahoots to go after Curly. And if that were true, right? If that were true, I would be enjoying it from the sidelines, like chilling, right? Like, if I could pay somebody to do it, great. I don't have a problem with that. Like, everybody knows I run the narrative. I call myself the narrative. Like JB and Curly in their tell-alls, right? Their tell-alls. Are simply trying to tell the Archieverse that I run a narrative, which is like, bro, like everybody knows that. I mean, it's not. I mean, you're not telling people. I mean, if this was your groundbreaking news, I mean, I think Doc's Report's going to be a little disappointed. Doc's Report's going to be like, fuck, I just, I just fucking, I didn't know this was happening, but I think Doc's Report's going to be the only one who's surprised. But even him, I don't even think would be. But yeah, I mean, it's just sad, right? The Curly's held a grudge so long, with Watch Nicholas. Like, I think, look, Curly, it's time to let it go, man. Like, I mean, Watch Nicholas doesn't even run a show anymore. Like, if you're not gonna let it go and you're gonna be a fucking jealous ex-girlfriend, then that's fine, man. Like, Curly, you've shown it's your first day on the internet. You get triggered off of fucking polls. You're the jealous ex-girlfriend that just really can't stand seeing Nicholas, who's not even streaming, just fucking put up a couple polls, right? This is how easy it is to troll Curly. Is literally put up a poll, right? For anybody who doesn't have access to a YouTube channel that can't do that, literally, it's like you posting a comment just being anti-Curly, right? And that's what he hates the most. Is when what's Curly is scared of most is two things. Okay, I'll tell you the first one. It's a simple one. Is if he ever had a problem with Mookie. That's why Curly will never leave Mookie, because Mookie has all of the software that Curly needs to do his stuff. Right. Without Mookie, Curly would have to watch everything. It would be a massive inconvenience. He never did that before in the dungeon. And it was really the narc that was doing clips. So Curly realizes he's neutralized at that point. Right. Now, the likelihood of that happening when Mookie is raking in money off of like attacking donors is unlikely right now, I would say. But eventually, like, I know Curly, he's eventually going to fucking implode, like he did with Watch Nick, like he did on the dungeon, like he did with everybody else. Curly does not stick around anywhere for a long time. So look, that's predictable. Option number two, on how to defeat Curly is very simple, right? Is just make him look like a bitch, because he is a bitch. Dude literally runs a 9-hour stream complaining about a poll, complaining about Pay2Play, saying, you know what, I don't like the fact 10 cents super chats and drives the narrative. Like, cool, man. Why don't you send some money and drive the narrative, you cheap fuck? That's the thing. That is the reality, guys. Like, those are the facts. JB is claiming all these, statements, but I'm like, yo, I'm cool with you sharing those messages that, saying that you can hide the names, but I'm cool with you sharing them because I know they don't exist, right? Or you can have those people reach out to me because I know they don't exist because I never had sent those messages. JB trying to say that I needed to have Mike the Snake on. I love Mike the Snake, and I love when he hops on the panel, but like, bro, 2 hours, 82 people. Do you think I fucking need nobody? It's at lunchtime, JB. I even did you guys a kindness. I didn't even go hard, right? If I wanted to go hard, I would have done it right during Curly's slot and read 150 viewers rebel streaming his ass, because Curly knows I can fucking command that audience too. I mean, people want to hear from me. They just not want to hear from me, bro. Like, of course they do. But I'm also not. I'm not a scumbag, right? I know that Mookie makes money. I'm a scumbag like those guys are, right? But those guys, they choose to go after somebody's fucking family during Christmas. That's okay, man. That's who they are. They want to attack donors. I mean, I'm gonna call that out for days. If they want to run streams against us, I'm gonna call that out for days, right? If they want to be smart and shut the fuck up, then hey, it's probably the better route, right? Because this narrative on their side is fucking. It's literally the narrative that they did last year, and everybody hated it. It drove tons of people away. So if that's the narrative they want to go with, cool. But again, they're doing it to appease, right? They're doing it to appease. They're simping, right? Simping donors. Simping their own crew that are licking their wounds because they're sitting outside the Archieverse. They want to be part of the Archieverse. All these guys like Archie, right? And this is why you're seeing the attack on Lux, right? It's people are equally angry with Archie as they are with Lux, but Lux takes the brunt of it because people just don't want to have a problem with Archie, right? They know Archie will fight back, and they just don't want to have an issue with it. They like Archie. They don't want to ruin, because everybody looks at this as entertainment, right? And what the last thing you want to do is nuclear bomb yourself from like ever being able to go and watch the show again, right? So that's why they don't attack Archie. They go after Lux, right? Like, I get it, but making fun of a guy's one thing. Like, literally live streaming during his slots where he makes money for his family, especially during the holiday season. That's a bit of a dick move. I'm calling that out. Literally nobody in the chat has said otherwise, that they agree with Curly doing it, or they support, taking money from Archie's family during Christmas. So I think that was a big, big misstep on Curly and Mookie's part. It's really going to be a bit of a blemish. We're going to run this narrative all fucking night, because look, hey, one single poll creates so much content for us, Curly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And look, I think you should give your boy JB a bit of advice. Like, again, JB said, Tan believes, we're beneath him. Yeah, in trolling, I believe you are, because I think you guys make a ton of mistakes, right? When I'm in the chat, and I'm giving you content, banning me, like, really? Y'all are that soy? Like, JB acting like he's in the chat acting tough with fucking Watch Nick. I mean, look, JB may be from the streets, right? It's all good. Got nothing against that. But, I mean, he wants to call out real people. Like, your scumbag friend Marcelo is the biggest fucking snake in the world. And I told that story about how he's a snake. Has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do with the streams. Who is more of the fucking real person in that fucking story, Marcelo or me, right? Like, so I think, look, I get what JB's doing, and he's trying to back his boy. He's backing the wrong horse, unfortunately. He's made to look like a fool. I had to do it, right? It was like, let's have a bit of fun over lunch. But look, it's JB and Curly's first day on the internet, right? They don't understand that, like, people troll, people pay to play. Curly thought he would. Curly's kind of like Uzi in that level, right? Everyone kind of rags on Uzi for not knowing the playing field. I think Curly's kind of the same, right? Curly thought he could come in here, pay to play, and then when it doesn't go his way, or people start telling him, "Hey, man, your content's kind of shit," and it's not really, we don't like that you're attacking donors. He rages, right? Like, he can't handle it. It's kind of like, it's Curly's first day on the internet, and he doesn't, like, understand that, like, the internet's not a nice place. And, you can't get angry and run 9-hour streams every time someone literally puts up a poll or sends a message. Like, that's how much of a bitch Curly is. He literally runs a 9-hour stream off of a fucking poll, right? And I could challenge you. Find me any time in the past 24 hours since this one day, or in the past 48 hours, 36, whatever, where I have attacked Curly, attacked Mookie in a way that would warrant, him to run a 9-hour stream, analyzing the psychology of the character Patel Philippe, as the ultimate mastermind of the narrative, that is somehow not helping Archie when Archie had his, most profitable year last year in 2020, more profitable than when he was with JJ and Lolex and Tim and Marco. And I'm happy to share those stats. I can easily show you guys the analytics. And yeah, I mean, it's such a weak narrative that, like, people are even calling them out for it. They're like, yo, like, we don't really agree. Like, look, you want to go at Archie, fine. We don't really agree with you going after, like, people that are literally helping. Like, what is the point, right? Because what if that person actually got upset and left, right? How do you think Curly would have, if for example, which could have been another option, would have been like, yo, like, fuck this, I'm out because of Curly, right? What would have been the repercussions after that? You really ask yourself, anybody who's really says, oh, I'm kind of like an Archie supporter and a Curly supporter, right? Well, when Curly's attacking donors, just because I'm who I am and I have thick skin and it doesn't bother me, right? A lot of people aren't. And Curly has gone after those people and they've left, maybe not the Archieverse, maybe they're still there, but they don't watch his shows. They don't support his stuff, and yeah, I mean, what do you think as viewers would have been really what his outcome would have been that he wanted, right? Is that what you guys want? Is that what you want, is literally for no trips, no watch shows, no content like that? If that's what you want, hey, cool. I mean, got 80 people watching, right? They could fucking tell me, but 101 people voted that Curly was the poison pill of the Archieverse. Like, this is what angered Curly the most, is when he realizes that he's not as popular as he thinks he is, right? He doesn't have as momentum as he thinks he does, right? His content is so dead that he's running Archie content right now during Christmas, going after his fucking kids. Like, to me, it's just, it's a little like Curly's getting a little, off the rails. That's why I kind of had to step in and say, look, Curly, like, I'm sorry it's your first day on the internet. I'm sorry that you got trolled. I'm sorry that you got upset. Like, look, if I hurt your feelings, bro, like, you can hop on the panel and I'll apologize to you for hurting your feelings. But I really think that, like, you're a bit of an obsessed, ex-girlfriend in many cases, whether it's with this guy or with Archie Luxury or with anybody else, unfortunately. And that's really kind of, what I wanted to say today, guys, is, rounding off about close to 2 hours here on the dungeon, 80 people. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Look, if you ever have a narrative run against you from Curly, don't get upset. Don't get mad. It's totally funny, right? Like this is all about fun and games. I'm not upset. I'm just like, look, I didn't know it was Curly and JB's first day on the internet. I think maybe I trolled Curly a little too hard with this 101 votes in this poll, basically calling Curly the poison pill of the Archieverse. But look, I mean, this is the Archieverse, boys. There's no pussy bitches around here, so y'all can stay out in the periphery. All right, guys, I'm going to see you guys next time. This was the Locks Report. I am the narrative, guys. I'll see you guys. Peace out.